now I would like to have Vivian talk about her practice, and which I felt is very needed these days. So Vivian is a medical intuitive, and then we also call her human MRI. And then recently, her focus or did a lot of work to help people work on their money issues. And in the Western medicine, we would tell this is a totally separate issues, right? You have economic and money issue. Now you have a body issue, but to our healers, these are all connected. These are all issues we have to like deal with and treat and heal. And that's why we call it's a holistic healing. And nowadays, thanks to coronavirus, and probably even before that, but we just, the coronavirus just makes things more obvious, is the insecurity around our society and our individual lives. And the most significant insecurity is around finance. And with now many people lost their jobs due to the market and the uncertainty ahead of people. It's just like what I said before, we're all living in this maze. We are trying to navigate our life without ability to see the whole picture. And everyone is frightened, confused, frustrated, and angry. And last week, Kathy and have been coaching people around how to deal with the anger and our emotions and our response to issues. But we still have to see access to the big picture, so we don't have to constantly responding to things happen to us in such an immediate way, because we are locked into the small space of the maze of our life, right? In the 3D area. So Vivian has been really healing and coaching on the multi-dimensional way. So Vivian, tell us and tell all the audience what you have been doing, and what about this money?
Okay, so when the pandemic hit, I just was coming back from Egypt and Dubai because I spoke at the Women's Economic Forum, wherein like women from 75 countries came together because we were working on helping the world, be aware and awake and help each other out. And then, of course, the lockdown happened as soon as I went through LAX, and they're like, well, nobody come out of their house, right? It's a lockdown quarantine the following week. But of course, since I am, I'm still a physical therapist, and I treated a lot of lymphedema and cancer patients and all the difficult to treat clients, like workers' comp, right? Like pelvic floor issues, and even some pediatric clients in the past. So I was feeling all this energy because I'm not only clairvoyant, which is I can see the body in 5D. In other words, I can see the inside of the anatomy and the physiology, the blood vessels, how the virus responds, if there is any in the body. A lot of the clients that I've treated with the virus, to me, it almost looks like a red dot inside the body. And it's either in their system, right? So some of them are very sick, and it gave them this weird feeling of in a maze, right? They're like confused, and almost like the maze, the walls go in and out, like it gets narrow and then it gets wide. So they're like drugged up. That's how they describe it to me. And of course, if you start clearing the energy, the lymphatic system you got to activate the lymphatic system to make it work more efficiently, connecting it to the central nervous system. So then the body can have the janitorial system working better to detox, or, open up those detox pathways and release that virus, so to speak. So of course they got better that way, but I use a lot of energetics because I see the physical plane, the emotional, mental, psychological, psychic, and spiritual plane. So I see inside the body and I see what's happening outside the body and how it affects the energy of this person. So every time I look at that, surprisingly, I was doing more medical stuff in the beginning of my career. That was back in 91, right, as a physical therapist. And then I moved into this human MRI mode of mine. And then I realized that a lot of the business owners who want to be successful, they always have some money stories every time they up level. In other words, it could be as little as, oh, I want to hit a different financial goal, or I want to change my ideal client that I'm serving, which happened to me, right? So I went from patients to clients that want to just get better in business, be successful in business, or be happier inside of them emotionally and mentally. So the pandemic, so to speak, has triggered pretty much a lot of the behaviors, the negative emotions, the uncertainty has brought up so many pictures of previous lifetimes of uncertainty and instability if they had money problems in the past, whether it's in this lifetime or other lifetimes, because I can see past, present, future. And then when they're not really living in the present, or perhaps they didn't have enough tools to be able to manage their life in the present moment, that's when it gets really magnified. It's like times 100. So if they were always worrying and panicking before the pandemic, now they're really panicking and worrying about little things. It could be the toilet paper, right? They can't get a toilet paper. So people were panic buying, and you can see the behavior pattern. I was like, why are they doing that? It's like they don't need to use like 10 million toilet paper. But they did. They had to do that. So I went ahead and started doing pandemic group clearings for people because I'm like, I was feeling this unrest because I was feeling everything. I can't just see, I can also feel everything around the world. So I said, I need to help these people, you know, to unplug them from that collective consciousness of fear, panic, and all these uncertainty that they're feeling, so that they can feel like at least they have some form of control in their life, right? That they can have this lane that they can work in for now, and then prepare themselves for when after the pandemic is done. Because I can see the energy of this around July, it'll start to open up again. Like the businesses are going to start opening up. I even had a client who, she has like a $6 million business, and she was thinking, oh, I'm not going to hit my projections according to my accountant. I'm looking at her like, no, honey, you need to hire by June, because by July, your workload is going to double or triple. And if you're not ready, you're not going to make your projections, right? Your financial projections, because you're not ready for it. But if you can see the energy of that, you can prepare your employees prior to the opening. Therefore, you're definitely ready for that upswing of the economy. So why is money in everything? Just if you think about this, we have, we call it energetic boundaries, right? It's like our external skin. So physically, we need money because we need to drive a car, go to work, buy a house, or, you know, rent a house, right? For survival. Emotionally, if we don't have money, couples usually fight, right? It's almost like this, this tug of war. And then relationship-wise, same thing. It's almost like we link money with power versus love, when you can actually have both, because most people live in an either or mentality rather than and also mentality. And spiritually, you can't really practice, like you can't give to church or contribute to your charity or whatever it is that you would like to give to if you don't have this physical money, this exchange that we're using through life. So I teach a lot of overwhelmed, stressed out entrepreneurs to actually get into calm, confidence, and clear as to what is really their sole purpose, to allow them to be happy and dream of the life they want to dream, and have fun doing it. That's what I do. I hope that helps. So Sume has created this big container for us, right? And then now our job is to reach out and say, hey, it's not that scary to come out of that. Because I know a lot of doctors, the traditional medicine, they're very knowledgeable, they're very aware. But if they live in fear, they're still in the 3D, right? Now, to get to 5D, right, 4D is the bridge. So they're aware, they're awake, but then they're still like, well, what am I going to do with this thing that I have now, right? I have intuition, like Dan was saying, they're testing, but then now there's like, it seems like they have a relationship problem. They have to do a pono, different therapy. They have to be able to bridge the gap, right? That's the 4D. But the 5D is we're using higher guidance to operate and navigate our lives here now. Like you said, you trust that when you left the nursing job, you're stepping into a different set of shoes. But now you got to own those shoes because you're now the CEO of your company. And how do you manage yourself being your own employee at this time, right? How do you build the team to serve the people that you want to serve? I'm in the same process.
That's beautiful. Yeah, that's beautiful. And that's the work everyone going through the academy is going through. You know, we realize, you know, awaken to 4D, and now we really have to really unfamiliar with the familiar that we've been going on for decades and throw away and really get out familiar and
this is a new world.
We feel comfortable in the new shoes, in the new home.
Yeah, exactly.
And then things starting to move and flow, and that's what we are all going to work together to help people do in this academy.
It is. I think that the hardest part for most people, because I know there's 4 stages of the getting to your higher spirit, right? To the 5D, you have to awaken, then discover. So a lot of people are dabbling, right? Well, let me see if I study this. What will I get out of it, right? But it's the surrender. And honestly, the pandemic it was shoved onto us. It was forced onto us that we had to rethink. We can't be complacent anymore. We got to really do something about life, right? So when your life is broken, when the whole earth is like shattered, I mean, think of a vase when you drop it on the floor, it's broken. Are you going to get a glue gun and put the pieces together, hoping it'll work still? Because that's what people are trying to do, right? They're trying to piece their life together. It's like, that's not working before. Can you see? Like, you can't depend on other people to give you a job because there's no job right now, right? So you almost have to create your own economy. You have to surrender and go, okay, how am I going to handle this now? Without codependency from the government or from other people that's giving us that, right? We got to create it on our own, and then we can get to the flow. But then, you can't get to the flow without really doing the work.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, go to the gym. I exercise. Yeah. I look at the equipments, but I didn't really do anything. So you think you're going to build muscles without exercising, right? So I
love what you said. You know, we talking about Kathy, you know, we all go to the stage of switching and transition, and there is this pause. And the corona pandemic is the pause for the whole mankind. Yep. It's a great pause. And if you experience the 4D and 5D, you know the pause is what it's supposed to be and how beautiful it is, then you don't have the panic. But people do not know. And they see these pauses like insecurity and everything is broken into pieces. They're trying to piece together in the old system and it doesn't work. And if it doesn't work, it gets worse, right? And then so that's the beauty of seeing, you know, where it's coming from and seeing a different level. And all goes well.